right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for popping on this call for us. We're excited to do this first. This is the first time we've ever done this employer forum. We're excited to connect with you all for a little bit this morning and give you some updates on some of the things that we've got going on. There's been a lot of changes with our office and stuff on campus over the last couple of years, so it's nice to have a chance to give you all an update. We still have some people popping on the call, so I'm trying to admit everybody as quick as I can, which is great. It's wonderful attendance. All right, so welcome. My name is Kevin Fullerton. I'm the director of the Office of Career Development, and I've been here since August of 2023 and relatively new. Probably long enough, though, I can't say I'm the new guy anymore. I'm getting pretty settled in here and enjoying my time. You're going to hear from a couple of folks in our office as well, Becky Pistulka and Jordan Feist, as you're probably more familiar with them than you are with me, which is fine. They're our employer engagement folks. But I want to give a little bit of a call out to the rest of our office as well, and just kind of showcase a little bit of what we do and what we work on. And then throughout this morning, we'll talk a little bit about different aspects of ways to engage with our office. We have a formalized employer engagement program that we're launching this summer, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we will hear from a recruiter himself talking about career fairs and recruiting at career fairs, and then we should be able to wrap up within an hour. So, right. Right. Nice. Good morning in the chat. Feel free to say hello in the chat and let people know where you're coming from. We're hoping to kind of track who all is interested and who all is attending. So feel free to engage with that space as well. Okay, so with our office, our mission, we are really focused on a lot of different aspects of career development within the student focus. So we are committed to empowering and guiding students on their journey toward meaningful and fulfilling careers through innovative programs, career advising, and strategic partnerships with employers like you. We strive to cultivate a dynamic and inclusive learning environment that equips students with the skills, knowledge, and confidence needed to enhance their quality of life. And you all are a big part of that. So our vision with this office is we are striving to be a premier career services provider by equipping students with the skills needed to make a positive impact on society. And again, that is a big part of why you're here, and we appreciate that so much. So part of that effort is career education. So we have Stephen Miedema, Aaron Peterson, Megan Kelly, and Brittany Domino. They are the folks that really tackle the career education aspect. They do a lot of different types of things, individual appointments like review of resumes, feedback on cover letters and personal statements, interview preparation, mock interviews, job and internship search information, all sorts of different types of appointments with students, whether it's major and career exploration or even practice session for like a poster session at a research symposium. So we're trying to meet students in as many different ways as we can where they need the help. And a lot of that is individually in our office, but also presentations and workshops and classes. So we're trying to connect to as many different classes as we can and really have a sort of a widespread presence across campus. Excuse me, just letting a few more people in on the call here. All right, great. Then on the employer engagement side, we of course have Becky Pistulka and Jordan Feist. Those are the two folks that you'll hear from today a little bit more, talking about how we're trying to connect with all of you. And then Pam McBride is our program assistant. She really does a lot of great work supporting us and making sure we know where we're supposed to be and doing what we're supposed to be doing. So I definitely appreciate her work a lot. So on the employer engagement side, let's see. I guess I'm going to turn it over. Sorry, I thought there was another slide there. So I think with that, then we're going to turn it over to Becky and talk a little bit about the year in review from this last 2024 to 2025 academic year. All right, so Becky, go ahead.
Good morning. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see so many familiar names in the chat this morning. It's nice to see you outside of the career fair aspect of it. So I wanted to kind of go over our numbers from the fall 2024 and spring 2025 recruiting season. So next slide, Kevin. We started off our fall 2024 career fair with the part-time job fair. Some of you I know in attendance. I saw Tim Wood was on here. He usually comes. The part-time job fair happens the second week of school, and we invite local companies to come. These are companies that give students opportunities to work part-time while they're attending classes. Our office recommends that a student work no more than 15 to 20 hours while attending class. And the part-time job fair is usually holding steady with 40 to 50 recruiters each time. And this year we had 730 students that came to the fair and made it seem very busy over the course of the 2.5 hours that we had that particular fair. The majority of the companies that come are manufacturing, fast food, event services, banks, and the healthcare. 2 weeks after that is our first engineering fair. We started this 2-day fair about 3 years ago because we had so many recruiters that were coming, wanting to come to our engineering fair. And this particular year, we had a little over 1,000, actually 1,001 students attended the fair over the course of the 2 days. The total number of students in the graduate and undergrad for fall 2024 was 2,029 students, which also included architecture and landscape architecture students from the School of Design. With that said, 49% of our engineering students attended this fair, so we were thrilled with that percentage. This particular fair had 217 recruiters, and we felt like that was a really good number and a lot of prime opportunities for our students to get internships and full-time positions. We moved the fair up 2 years ago from the third week of October to the third week of September. So now we're at the beginning of the recruiting cycle, and we really feel like that has been a good move for us to do that and giving more opportunities to our students to fill internships at your companies. So that's great. We have been trying to hold it to third floor only. So those recruiters that have been up on fifth floor in the past know that traffic is a little slower up there. So we have brought it all down to the third floor instead. I did want to make a note that 24 companies did stay and interview 126 students of the 2 days of the fair. So we did have good reports from students that a lot of those did secure jobs from those those interviews on campus. So that was a good thing. The first week of October 1st and 2nd, we had our cafes fair. As you can see, 952 students attended the 2-day fair. We felt like that was a great number. 47% of the cafe students attended. The total graduate and undergraduate attendance in the fall was 2,010 students in the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences. So we felt really good about that 47% that came to the fair. 21 companies stayed and interviewed 130 students for interviews over those 2 days as well. Moving on, the MEC Fair, we had 311 students. For those familiar, the MEC Fair is a combination of the next school and the Department of Communications and Journalism, which we affectionately call COJO. So if you hear us say that, that's what communications and journalism together. So we had 67 recruiters come to campus, and like I said, 311 students in attendance this year. So we felt good about that number as well. The total number of grad and undergrad between those two departments is 1,498 students. So 21% attended. We felt like we could do a little bit better on that, so we'll be working towards that for the fall as well. And our last fair in the fall was our psychology, sociology, Criminal Justice Fair. This was a brand new fair for us. We'd never had this combination before. 35 companies attended. About 50% of those 35 were criminal justice area businesses, and the other 50% were more the counseling for psychology, sociology students. So as you can see, there was 3,088 students that attended our fairs in the fall semester. So moving on to spring. That would be the next slide, Kevin. Just typical attrition. Those students that have jobs don't necessarily come once they have a job. We try to tell them all about the networking and how great it is to keep meeting more people, but we need to get that message out a little bit more, I think, to our engineering students in particular. So we had 635 students that attended engineering in the spring over those 2 days, and 183 recruiters attended campus. So the enrollment was 1,787 in the spring for undergraduate and graduate students for the engineering fair. Moving on, the College of Education, Counseling, and Human Development Fair. We had this in March. 104 students attended, 49 recruiters came right in the middle of a snowstorm. So that knocked out pretty much a lot of Sioux City, Sioux Falls, over into southern Minnesota. So it was interesting to kind of see the numbers drop off just because of the weather. So our 14% of those students, though, did attend that Careers in Education fair. So those students are usually out student teaching. We try hard to get them to come back to campus for the day, and we're constantly trying to connect those education students with jobs at school districts. So that's a good thing. Our All Makers Fair happened on April 1st. Here again, right in the middle of a snowstorm, and it was no joke on April 1st. So we had inclement weather again that day. We pick these days about 3 or 4 months in advance. So, we need to have a little bit better call on the weather, I think. But we did have 160 students. This was a brand new fair for us for All Majors Fair. And, we felt good about that number. It could have been a little busier, but it was a good start for us. Our last one was the Last Call Summer Job Fair. In the past, we've had Brookings Job Day and Sioux Falls Job Day, and we tried a combination job day as well. So with that said, we had 1,009 students attend for spring of 2025. So that is it for the spring fairs. So the next slide, I want to just talk a little bit about internships, because Handshake, we sit in a Handshake seminar last week. It was telling us that internships are down 3% over the previous year, but I did want to mention that it is the #1 best return on investment for your recruitment pipeline. 80% of internships help fill the recruitment pipeline. So it's something to definitely keep in mind. If your company does not offer an internship, it would be something to think about. We do see that the best internships are the ones that offer real tasks with real world implications. So students tell us that they like the rotational internships where they're spending a couple of weeks in each different department, so they can kind of see really you're pulling back the curtain on your company and allowing the student to see what opportunities are there. So they do enjoy being able to see a little bit of different aspects of your companies, and we highly encourage that you consider a rotational internship. The long-term benefit of offering an internship is that 20 to 30% higher retention if a student completes an internship within your company. So it's definitely something to think about. If you don't offer internships now, we highly encourage you to think about it. We do have some examples that we can give on opportunities for internships. You just need to let us know. So, all right. With that said, did Shane join?
Yes, Shane is with us on the call.
Great. So Shane Swedlund, he's been a longtime recruiter here at SDSU, and we asked him to pop on and say a few words about Raven recruiting at our fairs, and maybe he can offer some tips and tricks to recruitment. So Shane?
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Yep, we can hear you fine,
I'm at
Shane.
a remote location today on with some travel, so I want to be sure I can. And my slide deck, did that get loaded?
I did not get it, Shane, so if you want to share your screen, that would be great.
Okay, just a moment. I yeah, I was late in sending it in. Of course, it was late last night.
That's okay.
All right.
Okay, is that coming through?
It is.
Okay, I'll go quick here. So just a quick introduction. Shane Swedlund. I'm with CNH Raven, formerly Raven, but a few years ago we were purchased by CNH, so we're a brand of CNH now, and our focus is agriculture. In advancing that in a variety of ways. I'll go pretty quick here. This is just we work in technology areas on agricultural equipment. But Becky asked me to talk a little bit about career fair tips and some things that we've have helped us to be successful over the years because we've been closely involved with the career fairs much beyond how long I've been working with these things. But I've been very closely involved with the career fairs for 12, 13 years now. And in fact, I don't think I've missed one of the engineering ones at SDSU for over 12 years. So it's something that's very important for us. Just a couple of quick things, and Becky asked me to kind of consider maybe some of the top areas that we think are important to help be successful with career fairs and internship programs. And so first off, the company overall, the organizational support for these events. Uh, if we didn't have that, right off the bat, we wouldn't be successful. Um, these things are truly supported by our top leadership throughout the company, and it takes multiple groups to really keep things going. And as opposed to just one or two career fairs here and there, if we want to be successful over the long term, our HR department is committed to it. Our IT teams that support getting laptops and everything ready for the summers for the teams, the integration team. So what I mean by that is depending on which development team our interns are going to be going into, with providing mentors and projects. I heard Becky mention real work and real projects. That's exactly what we believe in as well. We think that makes the most successful internship programs, and also being a part of the team, being a part of the whole process, so they can really get to know your company. And the facility standpoint, making sure that we're ready for them from this, having office space, desk setup, monitors, all the other stuff that comes along with it.
What in the world?
Oh, am I still on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're on.
Shane, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Let's see. Another area, long-term commitment is what we found to be very important. The consistency of being at the career fairs, and even things of course can be cyclical, but still having that presence of having a team there and being at those events and talking to students and networking and getting to know them has been very helpful. Students notice if companies are absent at times. We've heard that from some of our interns and some of the students who will comment on if a company that's typically there but isn't at a career fair. The students pick up on those things. Another thing with really specific to the career fair part of it is being staffed properly, so we're ready to go for it. with the right mix of team members. So absolutely, we have our HR team that helps with this events, and that's very helpful. But also, depending on the areas that we're looking to hire in, we really try and focus on bringing some representatives from those teams so they can talk through some of those day-to-day activities and what kind of projects we work on, and plus they're also able to pick up from the discussions with possible candidates, with possible interns, if they may be a good match, a good mix. The brand recognition overall, that kind of ties in also with the long-term commitment, I know, but more so than just being at all the career fairs is helpful if possible. And now I know these things aren't easy, but if there's other campus events the company can be at, sponsoring senior design, that helps get your company brand out there further. Guest lectures in certain areas, club involvement, advisory boards, those kinds of things really help with the overall company brand over the years. Of course, the quality of the internship program. If the interns come from the students come from a summer internship and they've had a good experience, they've enjoyed the project work, the mentors they work with, the overall work environment. Again, students talk. They will spread that word, and that will help. Which can also be, if it's not a good, of course, if it's not a good experience, then that message gets passed along too. So trying to help support that as best as possible. And this, and Becky mentioned this one earlier too, which I find interesting as far as the high percent of companies that look at their internship program to hire those full-time positions. We absolutely focus on that as well. But with us, I'm sure with many other companies, there are those cycles. There's those up and down periods where hiring can be better at times and it's slower at times. But still doing the best as possible to keep, from not only the internship side, but some of those conversions to full-time, those kinds of things also get noticed by students when they're looking for possible employers. So those are a couple of quick things that we found that have been very helpful and very important to us. We've got this is just kind of covers some of the other areas with our, we've think it's very important on the senior design side. We've stayed partnered closely with the school on that over the years. And we have some fun. We have some fun at the end, throughout the summer too. This is our team from 2024 from a variety of different areas. You see the SDSU front and center there with a couple of our interns from SDSU there. But anyway, so that's all I had. But I didn't know if Becky, would you like there to be any questions or moving on from here?
Sure, yeah, if somebody has a question to ask you, that would be great. If not, we'll move on.
Okay. Could you open it up if there are any questions? If not, no problem.
Sure, put it in the chat, either one.
Okay. Sorry, I don't have the chat pulled up right now.
That's
Is there
okay.
anything coming in?
Nothing I'm seeing. Oh, are there specific types of marketing and swag materials you find the most effective?
Oh, I was thinking about that. That's a great question. We've had some different things from swag over the years. I think the couple of them that have been the most popular is where we've had some T-shirts that have kind of a catchy design or saying on them, which I think are popular with a lot of the students. But I've never found the swag, in my opinion, which doesn't make it right, to be overly important. sometimes maybe that draws them in. But if they're really students that are just looking for swag, well, okay. We're really hopeful that they're students that have done a little bit of research and are coming to target, to different companies that they're actually interested in, so we can engage in those conversations. So we always have some swag too, whether it's a variety of different things, but I've never been overly concerned on that front.
Very good. Tim Wood wants to know if you have a best practice for having employees sign up to volunteer at career fairs.
Oh, we don't have a formal process around that. What I work very closely with that area in our HR team. But so what we typically do is prior, weeks in advance of the career fair though, and knowing where some of our openings are going to be, based on that, then I start to reach out to some of the engineering managers or some of the team leads in those areas and start to look for people that may be interested in supporting. It's not always the case, but oftentimes it's alum that are love to get back on campus and help with those areas. So again, not a formal process, but we try and work through the teams that are going to be hiring and see if we can get somebody to help represent those areas.
Do you kind of have a combination of somebody from HR, somebody like an intern from last year that's still a student? Do you bring an alumni usually? Do you bring an engineer to the engineering fair? I mean, kind of how do you, I know you usually have several people. Do you try to have one from each of that department?
Very close to that. Definitely somebody from our HR team. We have somebody from engineering management there. Oftentimes then we'll, especially where the focus positions are, we'd have a couple other developers from those teams. If it's a mechanical engineering spot or if it's a electrical hardware design, we'd like to have somebody from those teams if possible. And oftentimes if it's not, it may not be a current intern that's there, but we oftentimes try and get somebody that's maybe a recent intern that's a full-time person with us now, because they really understand that whole process and maybe even still know some of the students in that area. So that's kind of helpful.
Reel in the good ones, right?
Yeah.
Josh Oakes wants to know if you have any recommendations on how you connect or engage with students.
Yeah, that one is, thanks for the question, Josh. With engaging with them, if we haven't met at an event already and some of those things, and if the career fair is the first place, then we look at a couple key criteria areas because it's a short conversation. Is it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, somewhere in there typically for a career fair contact. So we look at as our organization, maybe 2 or 3 areas that we value as important and we think will be a good match. And so we look at, yes, we were looking at the resume, we're talking with them, we ask them questions, we ask them if they have questions, and in a very short period of time, try and determine if there's a possibility there, from setting up interviews and those things. Now, as far as just in general, the networking and connection, that's where we look at some of those other events outside of the career fair, which are, kind of that brand recognition, or sometimes it's through different departments that we work with.
Okay. Andy wants to know what kind of events have you been a part of?
Me personally, well, and also actually other people from our company, absolutely. But we've done guest lectures in a variety of different classes, and those are fun. We've spoke at club events, which would be some evening after school. Typically, they like it when we can bring some food to those, pizza or something as well. The senior design, I mentioned that one a few times. We've been involved every year, at least with one of the disciplines on senior design, sometimes a couple. Side, with being there every spring, every fall. So there's that continuity. Oftentimes we'll have students that will come visit with us that are, maybe they're freshmen. Well, every once in a while we'll bring on a freshman, but that's not very common. But they're networking, and that's great. And so making those connections early, and hopefully they'll come back later after they're a little bit further into some of the studies. So.
Very good. That's the last of the questions, Shane. So you're off the hook now.
All right. Well, great. Thank you, everybody. It was fun.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Shane.
Thank you, Shane. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, I think we're going to shift our attention over to Jordan's going to talk with us a little bit just about some of the specifics in terms of how to connect with students through our office and ways that we can help you with that.
Okay, well, good morning, everybody. I want to say thanks again. We've got a good crowd in here, so it's awesome to have you all here for this. If you don't know me, I'm Jordan Feist. I'm Employer Engagement Coordinator here with the office. So work with Becky on organizing all the career fairs and everything like that. But on top of that, we also have a lot of options outside of the career fairs to get on campus. So awesome. I get to go after Shane because he hit it right on the head, and we're going to echo a lot of what he said right here. So what I'm going to be going over with you guys today is our talent engagement menu, a few of those specific options to get on campus. So those questions about those that you guys had, well, here they come. Going over handshake collections for you, something new that Handshake is kind of pushing out and something we've been working with, as well as some just general updates and new features that Handshake's offering for you guys that can help you recruiting in general. So we'll go on to the next slide, Kevin. So starting things off with this talent engagement menu, you may or may not have seen this before. I generally try to hand them out at career fairs, but this is just a kind of a broad overview of the different ways that you can get on campus. That font is a little small, so I have actually written out there on the left side pretty much the exact same thing that's on our talent engagement menu. Kevin's also dropping a link in the chat where you guys can go and find it on our careers website as well. Our talent engagement menu, so in general, the first thing I want to say, all this is entirely free. That is the best part to you guys. You don't got to pay us a dime. We just want to get you on campus and get you connected with students. So we, of course, want you at every career fair. Like Shane said, it's awesome to have that continuity and build that engagement. But being on campus in other ways gets you a little more familiar with the students, and they're more familiar with your brand as well. So the first thing we've got here is our information sessions. If you ever want to, our office is located right here in the Student Union. What we can do for you is reserve a room here in the union, and where you want to talk about your company's culture, maybe some best practices, things like that. It's great way to get students in front of you. We'll usually create an event on Handshake for you, push it out to students with relevant majors to try to boost attendance. And like Shane said, for all of these events, food is a big draw. I could always want to say if you have food in some form or fashion, broke college kids love food. It's a pretty easy way to get them there. So information sessions are one great way to just get in touch with students, let them know a little bit more about your company. Next up, we've got our employer site visits. Now, this is going to be more for our Brookings-based, maybe down to Sioux Falls companies. We can help to get a transportation for students down there. And if you want to show students just what a day in the life is like at your company, show your facility off, once again, get them a little more familiar with what your company does and what it looks like to work there. This is an awesome way to get students down to where you're at and get them more familiar with you. Workshops kind of pair with information sessions. The only difference with workshops is a lot of time these are more focused on specific, okay, what do we look for in a resume? What are some specific interviewing tips? I know a lot of like the government sites like USDA and stuff, it's kind of a lengthy process to apply. These workshops are a great way to walk students through, okay, it's kind of a minefield. Here's how you need to apply. So that's a little more specific as opposed to the information sessions. But once again, really good way to get students in touch with you. On-campus interviews. So we have 2 dedicated spaces here, once again, in the Student Union, where companies can come and host on-campus interviews. We'll create it in Handshake, create a schedule. You tell me what you're looking for as far as how long you need per interviews, how many you want to do you want to break in there? Then we create that schedule, push it out to students, and then students can actually see it in Handshake. They have to apply for the job, and then it goes through, and you can actually look and review, say, okay, I only want these majors, I only want these years in school. We can set those parameters right away, and then that way, so you won't get a biology student applying for an engineering job if you don't want it. but then you will also have ultimate say to approve or reject their application. It creates a resume booklet for you, and then you just have to show up and interview. We put signs up so the students can find you. We let them know where you're going to be, and then you just kind of interview one after another. Pop-up recruiting, otherwise known as tabling, is kind of how it's more commonly known. Probably the most common one that we see employers take advantage of. We set you up at a table right outside of our office. You'll be right on Main Street in the student union. Usually employers will do it, around that lunchtime rush when students are going through here in the union. And you're just there trying to catch them, whether you've got that swag to hand out or however you want to do it, but just trying to tell a little bit about your company, maybe some opportunities you're hiring for, events you have coming up, and just trying to catch students while they're walking by. Got to bring your most outgoing people if you're going to do this. If you sit behind the table, you're probably not going to get a lot of traffic. So you got to have people that are willing to kind of catch the students and talk to them a little bit. But just another way that students can recognize, oh, they're on campus not only for the career fairs, but they also table here. I've seen them in the union. Makes them a little more comfortable with talking to you maybe at those career fairs or applying to your jobs. And then finally, this is the last one, the digital ads in the union. We don't facilitate that ourselves in our office, but it is still a great opportunity for you guys. There's a number of video boards and TVs up here in the student union where you can put whether you've got job opportunities, just a general ad for your company up and have it as students are walking through here 15 times a day. You'll be seeing your ad rotating through. I'll have my contact information at the end of this. You can reach out to me if you do want to get on the digital ads in the union. I can get you in contact with the person who actually runs those and give you more information and everything that way. But that's just a real quick snapshot of, hey, here's all the different opportunities outside the career fairs that you can get on campus. I love that Shane said that. It's all about brand recognition and being consistent. These are all great opportunities, free opportunities for you guys to get on campus and really get in touch with the students and just make your brand known here. So moving on from our talent engagement menu. After this, I'm going to be going over handshake collections for you guys. So this is a relatively new to us feature that Handshake has rolled out here recently. So basically, it's just a curated view of jobs, events, and different things like that in Handshake that we completely administrate and handle here. So if those students are looking for specific jobs, say they only want to be within 20 miles of Brookings, we can make a collection that is either automatically scraping in those jobs, or we can add them manually to the collection, and just so students don't have to search so hard to find these jobs. On that Handshake webinar Becky had mentioned that we were in last week, jobs in collections are 7 times more likely to receive an application than jobs outside of collections. So if your job is in that collection, it's just much more targeted. Students are able to focus in and go, oh, that is what I'm looking for. Let me apply to it. And you can see that on the right side of the screen, I've taken our collections a snapshot of, okay, here's how they've performed just since the first of the year. That's about when we started using these collections. And you can see we've got over 2,300 job applications in our collections, over 8,000 views. So they've been, and that's with little pushing on our end. I have not been pushing these out to students very hard. They're finding them on their own and really looking at them and going through that way. So once again, completely controlled and monitored by our office. I go through and I check. Sometimes I have to remove jobs that aren't relevant, but just try to keep up on them and make sure they're working well. And this is a big one. Students can follow collections or automatically be opted in. And that opted in portion I'm going to go over here in a second. But if students are interested in working, say, only on-campus positions, they can choose to follow that. And anytime a job gets updated in that collection, they'll get a notification, they'll get an email, and then they can go and see that job right away. So this last part in here, how are we using them and kind of why does it matter to you guys? Number one, you cannot be in a collection if you are not posting your jobs on Handshake. So this is just a big way to let you guys know, post on Handshake. We have plenty of students that use it regularly all the time. In that webinar last week, they said job applications on Handshake are up by 30% year over year, but job postings are actually down by 15%. So while students are using Handshake more, employers are not. And I know it can be a pain. You have a lot of different job boards you're managing, but just on our end here, what I can tell you about ours is it's being used, and these collections are just another way that students can find what they're looking for. We only have 3 collections set up to date, and we plan on expanding that here in the future. So maybe we'll have some engineering path collections, maybe finance path, stuff like that, more major specific collections. And that's where students can be opted in. So if we say, hey, these 3 majors apply to this collection, they are automatically opted into the collection, and we'll see those notifications no matter what. So all of this is just to give you an overview of something new we're utilizing. Our students are clearly using it, and it's very important for you guys to post on Handshake, even though it's a pain. It'll hopefully get you some return. Clearly, students are using it a lot. So that's just kind of that broad view of that too. And now moving into Handshake updates and new features. So I've ripped this straight from that webinar last week. So this is not my graphic. A lot of this on here I'm not 100% familiar with, but I wanted to share it with you guys. Feel free to screenshot it, take a picture, whatever you need to do. These are a lot of different things that Handshake has coming down the pipe here for 2025. Not all of these are free. I want to clarify that. There are paid versions of this, but it's still something that you can look at, especially something I want to highlight. You see on the far left, it says that creating a thriving social network. Handshake's really going to be leaning into a feed portion is what they're calling it. It's almost similar to like kind of a LinkedIn feed, social networking type. They really want employers to utilize that. They had a lot of stats they shared that employers that have been utilizing the feed more to either post, short day in the life videos, have their alumni highlights, things like that on the feed. They've got direct returns on more applications, more students being hired. It just makes students, again, more familiar with your company. And that's a really big thing on with students applying for your jobs and wanting to work for you, is if they know who you are, they've seen you repeatedly. So that is an entirely free portion of this that I wanted to make sure to highlight, that Handshake is really pushing and would be good for you to get on top of and maybe look into a little bit. But apart from that, a lot of this other stuff is useful. Feel free to take a picture of it, look into it a little more on your own. Obviously, things like sponsored content, well, that's not going to be free, but it's an option depending on what you're interested in doing and what works for you. So moving on to the next slide, Kevin. This is another thing that I've ripped right from that. So when it says connect with us, if you are interested in maybe some of those options for the paid options of Handshake, different resources, that right QR code will get you connected directly with Handshake. So you can try to build a strategy for building your brand, being successful on Handshake, looking into some of the paid options, whatever you want to do there. We don't get any commission from Handshake, so you scan it if you'd like, but I just wanted to make sure to present that to you guys, give you the option to look into it if you are interested. And then on the left side, so the feed portion that I just was talking about, that's just some general tips and tricks via Handshake on, okay, how do I best utilize this? What are some things I can do to really kind of get this ingrained and get my brand, get my name out there? So just a couple different resources I wanted to pass along to you guys so you have more options that you can get and utilize Handshake and get in touch with our students. So, and with that, I think I've just got one more slide. So now if you have any questions or ideas, if you don't have my email address or you haven't talked to me, shoot me an email. Would love to get connected with you guys. We're open to ideas too. So if you're ever interested, you didn't see something on that talent engagement menu that you have questions on or you want to do, shoot me an email. If I don't know, I can get you in touch with the right people, or we can work together to really build exactly what you want to do. A lot of the time via that talent engagement menu, we loop together multiple of those events. So maybe you will do tabling in the morning and then host an information session in the afternoon, or something like that. We can help to build that, make it worth your time to come here to campus. So shoot me an email. That's what I'm here for. That's my whole job. I want to help you guys however I can.
Great. Thanks so much, Jordan. It's a nice quick rundown of what's possible with some of our connecting with us. So, all right, I want to jump into this next portion of live polling. We want to get some comments from you. We get a lot of data from the National Association of Colleges and Employers, and it's national data. And but we're kind of curious what you all are thinking about. And so I'm going to launch this poll here, and we're going to take a few minutes for you to submit your answers. Got a variety of questions here. So one, just kind of ranking the NACE career readiness competencies. Try to rank those in order. It's good for us to kind of think about. Ranking different sorts of ways recruiting strategies impact your company. Whether you hire international students or not. And then question about micro-credentials and what your hiring projections are for this next year. Is the poll live for people?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great. Take a few minutes here to collect some answers.
You want them to take all 5, correct, at the same time?
Yeah. Hey, all right, we got some answers coming in here. Good question. One would be, I guess, highest ranking, and then on down to 7 being the least sort of important. And there's a question in the chat on what the scale means. Right, interesting. Fun to see the answers coming in real time. What people are thinking about.
Tiffany's asking if 1 is the least and 7 is the most.
No, so number 1 would be the highest rank, and then on down. So
Ethan does have a good point.
yeah, it's a good comment in the chat for sure.
You see Lauren's question about the number 2?
Oh, yeah, interns, full-time. Yep. Whatever you're thinking about. That's all right, Tiffany. All right, it's interesting to see about international student recruiting, and micro credentials. Some questions about that, and then hiring since 2004 increasing about the same. Okay, that's good to see as well. Yeah, so I'll keep the poll open here maybe for the last 30 seconds to get as many responses as possible, but it is interesting to look at. So a couple of years ago, NACE did a survey, a national survey, asking employers to rank the top or the NACE career readiness competencies, and the top 3 were critical thinking, communication, and teamwork. And it looks like we're sort of in line with that. We've got self and career development as being um, high value there as well. But communication usually does win out in terms of one of the crucial aspects. Yeah, so that's interesting to see. And then impact for recruiting recently. Yeah, this is interesting to look at too. Referrals is kind of winning out in terms of the most impactful. And then South Dakota State career fairs and company websites looking at the top space or methods. Handshake and other job boards, maybe not as much. Hopefully, maybe we can help improve that. Maybe it's a issue with maybe those collections will help with that, help you all have higher impact with handshake use. So it might be some room for improvement for us in that realm. International student hiring, that's good for us to know. micro-credentials. So the university as a whole is starting an effort to start issuing micro-credentials for little certification programs, co-curricular programs, things like that, whether it's leadership development or a specific certification in a particular like project management process, or a whole variety of things. And that is something that some employers are looking at in terms of ways to differentiate applicants, because it's something that we can share on resumes and LinkedIn profiles and things like that, just showing a little bit of formalized professional development as people go through different types of credentialing efforts. So I'm glad I asked this though, because it's hard to know what the major trend is nationally, and then also in our region with employers that are coming to campus. And so we can definitely provide some content on what micro-credentials are, and then ask again in a year if there's any value to it for you all. But good to see that you all are still looking at increasing hiring, or continuing to hire about the same at least. I understand some folks might be decreasing this next year. That's definitely understandable in their current climate. And then I definitely understand folks that are not in the prediction business. So all very, very reasonable answers. So a really great question about, and that came up in the chat, about most popular events outside of the fairs that employers do. And I would say, Becky and Jordan, feel free to chime in, but I would say that often getting to do some guest speaking in classes seems to be a really good way to connect with students. And if that feels like a big barrier, we can help make connections with faculty in that effort.
Yeah, I would agree. I'd say 100%. If you can get into the classroom itself, that's definitely, it's always easier said than done. But that's one that, you have a captive, active audience then that way. But as far as the most popular ones, I would say definitely tabling here in the union. It's a little, that's less directed, but that's definitely a one that's, it's not too much of a commitment for you time wise, and gives you the option to get in front of students, a lot of students going by. And even if you don't say connect with a ton of them, they're still going to recognize your brand. I like what Hannah said in the chat there, that, the brand recognition, people apply for companies they are familiar with or have a connection to. So that's a great way to do it. If they just see you in any capacity, that makes a big difference. So it's kind of whatever works best for your timeline. We want to help you out however we can too.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Jordan. So thanks all for participating in that poll. It's fun to hear what you all are thinking about, and how you view some of those questions that we look at a lot. So thanks again. I think with that, I'll turn it over to Becky for a quick sort of preview of what we're looking at for this next year.
Great. Okay. Next slide, Kevin. So I wanted to tell you, mark your calendars. Handshake opens up for all of our fall 2025 fairs on July 15th at 8 a.m. So if you're interested on recruiting in campus at any of our fairs, the next slide will be showing you what fairs are coming up. Be kicking off right away with the College of Engineering Career Fair on September 17th and 18th. The cafes one is scheduled for October 1st and 2nd. Management, Economics, and Communications Fair, October 16th. Criminal Justice, Psychology, and Sociology is November 5th. I did leave off, I guess, our part-time job fair, and that one is September 3rd. So those are the fairs right now that we have scheduled. And on the next slide from this one, new fairs that we have, we're looking at starting a grad school fair. We used to have grad school fairs here pre-COVID, and we have that scheduled for October 29th. The nice thing about it is we will be inviting other schools besides students from South Dakota State to this fair, particularly Dakota State University, Augustana, probably University of Sioux Falls, University of South Dakota as well. Those schools will all be invited to attend the graduate school fair on October 29th. And tentatively, we are in the talks to have a geography, geospatial sciences, and natural resource management fair in November. So that was still tentative at this point, but we will have that firmed up by the time that Handshake opens on July 15th. So I think that's all I have.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Becky.
Mhm.
Okay, so I know we're coming up on the end of the hour here, so I want to make sure and provide a little bit more information about some of the things we're thinking about and leave time for questions if people can hang around officially after 11 o'clock. So we are launching a formal employer partnership program. We are really committed to being a bridge between students and employers. And Jordan did a great job showcasing the talent engagement menu and the other, many ways that you can engage with students and connect through us. But there's other ways to support, and supporting the Office of Career Development would allow us to really focus on new technologies, scaling the student engagement efforts that we're working on, and expanding support of faculty and staff, and building on those connections. And so really what we're looking at for employer partnership program is for a $3,000 annual investment with our office. These are the list of things that would be benefits to you. With our website, we have the ability to put your logo on our website, so it'd be really prominent on the landing pages for the website. And we can provide also like a sponsor page that would provide a little bit of description of the company, links to your job openings menu pages as well. Organization name and logo on our board outside our office in the Union, with a QR code that could link to your current openings. With all of our career fair materials, we usually have a map of how the employers are set up in the space. We would have sponsor section on the career fair advertising materials, and then we would help you have a targeted email blast to specific students within whatever disciplines you connect with twice a semester. So it's a really good list of different ways that we can also augment your connection to students here on campus. I want to provide a link to that on the website here. So feel free to check that out. With questions, I do have a post-session feedback survey. Of course, we're always trying to survey folks, right? See how things went. I will provide that link here. But in the meantime, while I pull that up, are there any questions about anything that we've covered this morning? It might be in the chat. I can't really see that quite yet.
I've been trying to grab the ones that I can answer as they come in. So
Yeah, great. So I just put the survey link for this session in the chat. Please just take a couple minutes and let us know how it was for you. We want to make sure the time is valuable. And when we do this again, we want to make sure that we provide relevant content.
Kevin Hilmo asks, will you share this recording with all attendees?
Yes. So this session was recorded or is being recorded, and we'll be able to share that. I'm not exactly sure how yet, but we will make sure attendees get the link. We'll have it posted somewhere, and we'll announce that as soon as we can. Looks like, is there a deadline for the employer partnership option? Not really. At this point, we can be pretty flexible on that. So, yeah, if you're trying to figure out how to plan for that, that's fine. Just reach out whenever you can. There's a form on the website to submit interest, and Jordan will follow up with you as soon as you submit that information, so we can stay in touch with that.
Emma, I saw your question. So are there student events or university-sponsored events that employers can attend in between career fair days to connect better with students for those that are out of state and want to make the most of their time? So we can always try to find something that might be going on at the time that the university, you give me a time frame you're thinking. But as far as specific events that are being held, none that I know of. Yeah, sometimes the schedule changes as we get closer. That's why a lot of the time those out of state companies, whether they're making a trip up this way for another career fair or whatever, and they have a little bit of time to stop through, that's when you can just reach out to me and let me know, hey, I'm planning on being there September 25th and 26th. Could I host an info session? Could I do this or that? And we can try to tailor something to you. So that way, hey, if you're going to be in this neck of the woods anyways, we'll try to make it worth your time to come to campus. So.
Right, great. Well, thanks for everybody for your attendance. We can't do this work without you. So we really, really appreciate your connection with us and engaging with this process. Your dedication matters and your connection adds value to our campus. And so thanks again and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.